Now in its 10th year, this is Gabnet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Hey everybody, this is Alex live from Harlem in New York City, and it's a program called The Ramble. Ladies and gentlemen, there she is, the lovely and attractive Lori Thompson. Hello, Lori.
Hello, Alex.
Yeah. I've watched you on many things the last couple of days because I've been taking my my Roku channel and adding stuff to it, and I've started adding some of the videos we made of doing the shows at like Live 105, and I have one where I was over at the Quake, which you weren't on, but you're on several of these things, so it's kind of like I'm spending time with a young Lori Thompson.
Lori Thompson. Yeah, well, we had so much fun, and we did a lot of shows. Those breakfasts with Bennett were always a blast because we got all over the Bay Area. And we did one at Palmason Winery.
Oh, we did them all. We did them really. Where did we? Well, I'm trying to think of the biggest place we ever did one. But usually the Fairmont Hotel, the Venetian room of the Fairmont Hotel, when we did breakfast with Bennett's there, was just fantastic.
It was fantastic.
And then we moved over to what was Bimbo's, right? And the girl in the fishbowl.
Yes.
They have they had a thing in this club. It was called Bimbo's. It's called Bimbo's. And it was a club. There was a big, major kind of nightclub, really classic nightclub, especially during maybe the 40s and 50s.
Yeah, it had a cachet.
And so we did our last couple of breakfasts with supper with Schwarzman's at Bimbo's. And there was this thing they called the girl in the fishbowl.
Yeah.
And the girl was in the basement, lying on a couch or something like that, with fin tails, mermaid costume with the tail with the fin on the bottom, and then she would lie there, and then through a series of mirrors. I mean, this went back to the 30s or 40s. With a series of mirrors, it all went all the way up to the bar, where there was a fishbowl, and she was projected into it.
Yeah, it was a pretty cool gimmick for the time.
And you went down there, and I think you got on the couch, and I went upstairs and saw you in the fishbowl.
My aquarium debut.
Your aquarium debut, yeah. So, yeah, we did have a lot of fun with those. But
my God, they were a blast.
You're going on a major trip this week. You're leaving tomorrow.
Yeah, yes, it's a big trip.
And we are actually going to play this the day before she's leaving. Tell them where you're going.
We are going to Lisbon, Portugal to start off.
Yeah.
And then we go through Italy and through France, and we end up in Rome. And it's a month-long trip, so that's the longest we've ever taken.
Now, is this all by boat?
Yes.
It is all by boat. You're going to have to tell me about that one because, we're thinking of going boat. Marjorie doesn't want big boat. Okay, but we're thinking of going boat, and the reason we're thinking of going boat is because we're too old to go any other way. Okay, because usually what I would do is I'd rent a car and drive all over Europe, but I just don't know if I'm capable of doing that anymore. If I can drive, because I haven't driven in a long time.
Yeah, well, the thing I like about cruises, and I had a lot of resistance because, as I've said, to me, it seemed like elderly people in matchy clothes playing shuffleboard. And I thought, I'm not that person.
Minus the shuffleboard, that's Marjorie and I.
Well, the thing about, and the thing about that was that I had a lot of misconceptions. And so once I went on one as a tester cruise, I found that you find your people. And there are some cruises that skew more elderly than others. and then some with. You got to find your niche, and we've kind of found our cruise line, which is Azamara, smaller ships, like usually less than 500 people, and a really good crew to passenger ratio,
Hmm.
and they don't do gimmicky stuff. It's not rah rah.
As
We had
long
a,
my cutoff point is I won't go on any ship that has a Ferris wheel.
yeah,
You know,
that is
I
a
saw
good.
one that I looked at, and they were a huge boat, right? And they were
Mhm.
advertising 7 water slides.
Yeah, I mean, even two seems
Isn't
a little
isn't a
excessive.
water slide, since you're on the ocean, redundant?
Yeah,
You know,
and the fact
if you
that is the
really wanted to
iconic.
make it interesting, have the water slide go into the ocean and then leave them behind.
Well, except for the leaving behind part, I think that is a good idea. I would like water sliding in the ocean. I just wouldn't be on a boat that had a water slide because that the people it would attract would just be a little too rough.
So what we want is something. There's a couple of these things, like they say. I like some of the Viking tours.
Yeah, those are nice.
Say no children.
Yeah,
You know,
and
it's not that I
that's
don't like children. It's just I don't want to have to be on a boat with them. You know.
yeah, and plus it's a whole different mentality. Children means it's probably families, and you're going to get all of that, all of the things that come with families. Some mini dramas and just a lot of noise.
Tell me
And
about that, because I have no idea. I've never been a family.
oh,
You know, I never had kids, right?
uh-huh,
You know, I've
right.
never been a family.
Well,
And
it's
I get really mad when I hear all these politicians going, "And what about our kids?" Well, fuck your kids. You know,
yeah. I
do
don't
something
have
for
any
me.
kids.
I'm 84 years old. I need a little help. Come on. You know,
Okay, but
get me a seeing eye babe. Okay?
and the service job. I see. I have a little bit of an axe to grind on service dogs because I don't think some of these. I think some people just like to travel with their
Are you talking
pets.
about service dogs, which are, help the blind get around? I think what you're talking about is
Comfort,
support dogs,
support animals.
support
Yeah,
animals.
I'm sure a labradoodle,
Is
for these little animals they're trying to pass off as support dogs.
No, because
I just don't
because you
buy it.
can pet them and you feel good around them, and it calms you down because you've got anxieties and so on. Screw you and your support dog.
Yeah, I mean, I think that people shouldn't take them when they travel. It's just because dogs have animals carry a muskier smell than we do. And on an airplane, last time we flew, there were 3 people with support animals. And it starts to smell like a zoo after a while. But I just don't buy. I think there are a lot of people just skating in on that, support animal license that people seem to have. And I don't think there's any formal
Yeah.
registration procedure, is there? I
No,
mean, so
no.
so people are just they're working that system.
Yeah, I think you go
And
and register your dog as a support animal or something. It's very easy to do. And then you can come along and bring your pet and inflict them on other human beings.
yeah, exactly. And then, like I say, with pets and kids,
Yeah.
the noise levels are
Well,
higher. And I'm not,
yeah.
pardon.
I mean, I told Marjorie, I said, well, we'll just test these things. I said, don't worry about it. We got the money to do it. Let's just test it, see if
Yeah,
it works, and if you're comfortable with it, fine. If you're not, we won't do it that way ever again.
yeah, but be game. That's my motto in life.
And
Just be game.
I want something where I don't have to get off the boat if I don't want to. You know.
That's key. See, and sometimes as a couple, that becomes a little bit of a conflict because sometimes I just want to stay on the boat and sit by the pool and meet people and hang out and have my soft serve. But Rick's like gung ho. 6 o'clock in the morning, he's ready to go and traipse all
We're
around
going
the
to go
city.
climb Mount Fuji. Yeah,
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's almost like that. And I have a rule. I don't go on excursions that are more than 4 hours. but he still sneaks them in sometimes. But I think, the rest should be up to you. I just want the boat to get me to these
Does
places.
he
I will
sometimes get
entertain.
pissed off because you're a little bit of a like, I want to stay back in the boat?
Well,
Kind of,
so
yeah.
far I just go along to be a good sport, but that's about to change because it's just like relentless. Like on a normal vacation,
Well,
you have a chance to plan.
yeah, I don't know how I would do doing a month like you. A month is a little long for living out of a suitcase, basically.
Well, yeah, and I said, why would I want when I have a 2.5 bedroom house? Why would I want to go and shower every day in a 2.5 by 2 foot cell? Because the showers are everything is condensed, and I'm slightly claustrophobic, and I thought it doesn't quite make sense unless you're trying to prove something.
Yeah,
Like I'm a little
yeah.
skittish on the world cruise, so I told him if I get to the point where I'm just miserable and having no fun at all, I will take a plane home. And he said, okay. He said, I'm not coming home. I said, then don't.
No,
I will
no. I mean,
keep
you'll
getting on the
probably
plane.
enjoy it, but I think by the time you're through with it, you're going to be really happy to be coming home.
That's what I think. Even after a month, this is the longest
Because
we've
what
been
did I do?
gone.
I think I did a 3 week vacation once.
Yep.
When I left Live 105,
Hmm.
I booked a major trip, and I think that was 3 weeks. And by the end of 3 weeks, I was pretty squirrely, you know.
Yeah. See, and that's what
And,
I'm
and
wondering.
it's not that you mind being somewhere else. That's not it. You're just not, when I'm home, I'm with my stuff.
Yes, and there's your familiar routine, and if you're hungry, you can just go get it
Hmm.
in your kitchen. But here, see, they're pretty good. Azamara's got something for food all of the time, and that's great. But it's not like you can just go in your house and go to the cabinet and get some Cheez-Its, if
Yeah,
you do a little nosh in the night.
right.
But that's what. So
Yeah,
I'm wondering about it. That's why I wanted to give myself an escape clause on the world cruise,
yeah.
which I have. But this will be the
Are
longest.
you easy to travel with?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you were easy to
Well,
travel
you know
with.
what? I'm easy once I'm on the vacation. The first couple of days before the trip
Uh
itself,
huh.
I start going nuts.
See, that I have a little of that, but I got it out of the way last week. For some reason, I thought we were leaving last
Well,
week,
yeah,
so I
but
got all that anxiety out of the
what
way.
it used to be is I used to be afraid of the fact that I maybe was going to go here and then I had to make a train to go there, but it was like going to wake up early enough to make the train. What happens if I don't make the train? I go through all of that, right? And I start going
Yeah.
nuts. I start driving myself nuts. And that was all fine, but I wondered why I did that. And we had Spalding Gray on the show. Swimming to Cambodia was his book,
Yeah, the monologist.
and who committed suicide, by the way.
I know how sad
Yeah.
it seemed.
Anyway, he committed suicide, but I said to him, I said, I have this thing because we were talking about trips and so on. I said, I have this thing, and I told him what I told you, and he said, oh, I'm the same way. He said,
Hmm.
absolutely the same way. And I said, well, marvelous. Why do we do that? And he said, because we're control freaks.
See, that I
And I
think plays
said,
a
what?
role.
And he said, yeah, we're control freaks and we want to anticipate everything that can go wrong. So when it
Yeah.
does, we have control over it.
Right. And the things that throw you are not the things you thought of. It will be something that you never could have predicted. But I'm more a roll with the flow.
Yeah.
The way I look at it, spontaneity is one of our best gifts.
Yeah.
And you can roll with the flow because you're not going to be able to control every
Yeah.
aspect of a trip. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Layovers and meeting your
So,
next plane.
so basically, this is a Mediterranean cruise.
Yes.
Is
Yes.
what it turns out to be. Did you say you were going to Ibiza again?
No, we're going to Barcelona though.
Barcelona.
Barcelona.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of my favorite
Do you
towns.
remember when we were in Barcelona? You were in Barcelona with me, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember the Elton John concert we went to?
Oh gosh, I do.
One of the
It
most
was
memorable
like it was
concerts of
hot.
my life.
Yeah.
You know,
It was
you
great.
think, oh, Elton John, he's done a couple of hits. He comes out and for 2 hours plays one hit after another, and you suddenly realize the breadth of this guy's talent. It was amazing, just amazing.
Oh, because he is an entertainer par excellence.
Now, I
You know,
want to say that you've been doing something that was very nice. I told you that I had these high white blood cell counts and this high lymphocyte count,
yeah,
and I was kind of bothered by it, and my doctor told me to go to an oncologist, and you started praying for me.
yes.
Did you
big time.
actually pray for me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's what, and I pray that you'll have peace with whatever they find, just that you'll have peace about it, and that everything will work out.
You know
Because,
something? Why should I ever pray when I've got somebody who can do it for me?
you got the Pentecostal in the pocket.
Hey, God, when I get up there and God says, you didn't ever pray to me, I go, well, my friend Lori did, and so doesn't it count for something? Yeah. Now,
You can coattail
actually,
it.
oddly enough, I say a prayer every night before I go to sleep.
It's
That's something
reassuring.
most people don't know about me. I don't think even Marjorie knows it. Yeah.
But that's sweet. It's reassuring.
But anyway, so
Yeah.
because I had these health problems, you were. Did I tell you about the report I got back?
That the doctor didn't call you back or anything?
No, he didn't call
Is
me
that-
back. Well, hold on a second. I still have one over here. Hold on. Just stay where you are.
Oh, good job.
Okay. What I went and I decided that what I would do is I would get the what do you call it? The actual report that he did, the guy that he never got back to me,
Yeah.
right? And
Yes.
on page 5, I get this. You can't read
looks
it.
to be-
But
no, it looks to be the diagnosis.
well, and it's in red, right?
Yeah. Which
Yeah,
is
and
not
the
a good sign.
diagnosis that they made from this flow cytometry analysis was that I have chronic lymphocytic leukemia. Okay,
Well-
that was on page 5. He never got back to me.
See,
Never
that's the
got back
thing.
to me.
What are you paying him for? To know that something that is just
No, it's not
providing
me
you-
paying him. It's Medicare, but but I get this, and I look at it, and I go, well, I better just print up the whole report, and I gave it to this new doctor I went to, okay?
Yeah.
And he said, oh, I'm glad you did this. This really is helpful,
Sure.
And because Marjorie said, why are you printing that stuff out for him? Yeah, and he was it's in my files now over at wait a minute, Marjorie is calling on my phone here.
Your dog,
Wait,
your
wait a
sweet
minute.
pie.
Marjorie, don't you know that I'm doing something with Lori?
I know, but what did you want
Hi, Marjorie.
besides
What?
chicken breasts and legs?
What? What did you say?
What did you want besides chicken breasts and legs?
I wanted some mozzarella cheese.
Okay.
Oh no, wait a minute. I have mozzarella cheese. I don't need it.
What? So you don't need anything.
I just need the meat.
I got the meat. Okay.
Oh, okay.
bye-bye.
Bye bye. She called.
See,
She
now-
knew I was doing something with you when she called.
But still, that's pretty sweet.
Anyway, so
yeah.
getting back to this, okay.
Yeah, the lymph.
So I hand it to him and I say, this was on page 5 of that report. If you got that, then the following Monday or whatever, what would you do? He said, well, I would call you
Yes.
and tell you
Yeah.
that there's something a little bit concerning in the report, right?
Yes.
He said, in fact, I'd call you even if it was all good.
See, it's, oh man. Yeah.
Right?
That is the kind
I
of
said, I
doctor
never
you
heard
want.
from the guy. Never heard from him.
That's
But,
nutty.
and
They
then
should,
he
go
said, where did you
nuts.
go? And I said, I went to the cancer and blood specialist. He says, oh, them.
They have a rep.
Anyway, so I had that, and so I handed it to him. He said, what you have, he said, is chronic lymphocytic leukemia. I have leukemia, but that's the the worst part of the news. The best part of the news is it's all good. This is
It's
a
all good.
form of leukemia that people my age have a tendency to get. It's the most common leukemia in America and the most curable. Not curable, but never cure it.
Treatable.
The line they use is, you will not die from this, you'll die with it.
Perfect.
Okay.
You know, because we're all
And
going to
he
die.
said,
of
as long
something.
as you don't have symptoms now, we're not going to do anything. He says, your platelets are a little low, so I want to have you come in a couple of weeks, about 8 weeks or something, come back, and we'll do another platelet count on you.
Yeah, just monitor it.
And that's it. And we'll monitor you on and off. And I met this doctor. He's really great doctor, wonderful doctor. And he's very comforting. And he said, you know, all these high numbers you see in here are all a result of that same thing, you know.
Mhm.
And he said, none of the numbers are high enough that I'm concerned. Because, you know, when you look at it and they say, blah, 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 high, and it's on a graph and it's up towards the top of it, you don't know what high is supposed to be. He said you could be high on a lot of these things, and it just never, you know, it's not horrible because it's not terribly high.
Yeah, it's normal. It's within the standard.
So he said, you're in good enough. You're in good shape. You have no symptoms. He said, well, just watch it, you know.
Yeah,
And I
that's all
wouldn't
you-
mind going back to this guy every 3 to 6 months and dealing with him, because he's a nice guy, and he kind of makes you feel, if you walk out and you feel better than when you walked in. So that's how it turned out. So I have leukemia. So now I have an excuse for when Marjorie says, by the way, you have to take out the garbage tonight. I go, nah, I can't. I got leukemia.
So much better than my back aches.
And now this is
That's
my
gonna trouble a lot of
second cancer.
Because you had the prostate,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they seeded that, and now you're
Yeah, and
good.
so now they're just sitting and waiting, and they say he has one guy he's been seeing for 30 years or something like that with this same thing, and he's never shown symptoms. So
Yeah.
and he says, and then I said, what happens if I show symptoms? He says, used to be you had to go in for radiation, you had to go in for, like, you know, what do they call it, that where they put poison in your veins and stuff, you know. He said, now it's just a little pill that you take once a day, and it doesn't even affect you. He said, but
you can
it lowers all the stuff in the leukemia. So it's very easy to take care of.
Good. See,
so
that's
he
what
said,
you want. I
you
just
know,
don't want to feel crappy. Keep me from feeling crappy, and
I'm
I'm
84
fine.
years old. To get this kind of leukemia, hey, okay, I'll go with it, you know.
Yeah.
And by the
And 'cause
way, I've had it for a year, because you got to remember this other test was done a year ago.
Oh yeah, and you're still doing fine.
And my condition has not changed at all, you know.
Yeah, see, and it's non-symptomatic. I don't
Right.
mind those non-symptomatic things. It's just when you hurt.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of hurt, and that's what I go to the doctor for. Make the hurting go away.
Make the hurt and go away. Well, here, I'll show you this. This is wonderful. I bruise when they take blood. Look at that.
Wow, that is a woozy. Man, it looks like you got punched in a bar fight.
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
do you take any of those, like Coumadin or anything that'll make you bruise easily?
No. I
No.
just always, when they give me the shot, I sometimes wind up with a minor bruise or a huge one.
Wow, that's
Mm-hmm.
interesting that something just like a needle prick would do that.
Well, I think they put it in a little deeper, and it's, you know, changing tubes and stuff, because they took about 5 tubes of blood out of me.
Woo!
Yeah.
It must be valuable.
And
They
then
sell it
I
on
go into the
eBay.
hospital. This is the best part. They got this thing called My Chart, which they
My
have.
Chart.
A lot of hospitals have it. It's called My Chart, and you sign on to My Chart. You go over there, and you can see when your appointments are, and so on and so forth.
Yeah,
and there's an
that's really
area
important.
called Tests, and they give you the results of all your tests. 5 minutes after I gave this blood, my watch goes off. You have some messages on your My Chart. they were starting to post all the blood stuff. And today the last one came in, I think. And
Well, that's pretty cool
yeah,
little
but
device.
they all came in within a day or so, most of them.
That's an efficient lab will do that for you.
Anyway, so that's I want to thank you for praying for me.
Well, I want to thank for you being fine.
Yeah.
Essentially.
You didn't have to
Fine.
speak in tongues to be that efficient, did you?
I didn't have to. Wasn't required. It's not like you go and sit to say a prayer. It goes, "Where's your papers? Come on. Are you willing to speak in tongues?" But it's effective. I just do prayer. It's been a part of my life since I was an infant, and so it's kind of meditative, and it just makes me feel better about life.
Yeah.
And it makes me feel better about people and my relationship to them.
Well, listen
So-
here. I want to wish you a pleasant journey.
Thank you.
Have a nice trip,
Okay.
and we will see you when you get back. However, in the intervening weeks, there will be videos of you because we put a lot of them in a vault, and we release them once a week. So we'll see you next week here, but we'll see you when you get back, ladies and gentlemen. That there is Lori Thompson. Bye, Lori. Bon voyage.
Bye, babe.
Now in its 10th year, this is GabNet. Talk like you've never heard it before.
Ah, yes, Lori Thompson. That was a rerun, by the way. And here's the reason it was a rerun. She was in New York this week, and we were going to do one of these things. And I decided, it was getting late. We'd had dinner, and I didn't want to go ahead and do it. So I said, I'll just rerun one this week. And I picked one, and it was one where I was saying she was going to Europe and doing all of that. And it's the wrong ones to do. Sorry about getting on late tonight, folks. Every now and then there's a problem. It always happens when I first go on Wednesdays, because something wasn't set up or it wasn't set to go, and you wonder why. And anyway, so it was not all that terrific, and we had some problems, and I don't know exactly what the problem was. But we solved it, and that's all that mattered. But I just wanted you to know that, this was what was going on. So we solved the problem, and here we are. And we have a whole bunch of people that want to get on with us here. And let me see here. First of all, let me do this. Let me go to the Zoom panel here. And then let me take this up to admit all. And there's one person here. I just want to make sure they're okay. Yes, okay. All right. They're good to go. Okay. And I think what I will do now is I will transition. There we go. There we are. There's our people. Hello, everybody. How are you?
How you feeling, Alex?
I'm feeling.
You're over that shot.
Yeah. Last time. Let's see. When did you see me the last time I
Monday.
had? That
You
shot.
talked about it on Monday.
Yeah. No, Monday or Tuesday or whatever. Anyway, that was the day they gave me all the shots at one time. And that next day, I was not feeling well. I mean, every bone in my body was aching and so on. And then I was okay. So.
You told us about it last week also.
Well, he just asked about it.
I know.
Do you listen to what we're doing
Monday.
here?
It's not 5 minutes yet.
Yeah. No, he wanted to know. He wanted an update of what happened.
Got it.
And I gave him the update. Okay.
That'll teach you to get all 3 shots at one time.
Huh?
Sorry. That'll teach you to get all 3 shots at one time.
I'll do it again. I don't care. I want to get them over with, There's one I haven't had yet, and that's a follow-up pneumonia shot. I've had my pneumonia shot, but there's supposedly now you can do another one that will give you 20% more protection or something like that.
Yeah, that's right. It used to be called Prevnar 16 and or 14 or 13 or something, and now it's called Prevnar 20.
Oh, really?
It's
Okay.
about a year apart too.
I'm sorry?
The shots are two. The Prevnar shot should be a year apart, I think.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you don't do a booster. You just
No, but I got one in 1 year, and then in the following year,
yeah.
the same month, I got the second.
Absolutely.
Well,
That's
we're
correct.
gonna ask them first, whether we should have it or not, And the drugstore, they seem to know when you're supposed to have stuff. See, my problem was we used to go up to the Rite Aid here all the time to get our shots, and we liked them a lot, and all of a sudden, they went bankrupt.
Ooh.
And so they moved all our records over to the CVS down the street. And I'm not that hot about CVS, I mean, they're good for Band-Aids, but that's about it, And so we went down there to get it. And the first time we went down, they couldn't get our information from Medicare because Medicare was offline or something. So we had to come home, and that's when I took my fall. So we had to wait a couple of days before we turned around and went back down. But geez almighty, was I ill the day after that shot, those shots. But, now I'm well, and I probably won't get COVID, and I probably won't get the flu this year. And what was the other one I took? RSV?
RSV. That's the one that knocked me out.
Really? I bet that's probably the one that knocked me out, too. But who knows? I took 3 of them, so it could be any one of them. But anyway, so, Anyway, a little sorry, folks, that I had some trouble getting on tonight, but we managed to survive it, so we're okay. And I still don't know what went wrong or what the problem was, but once I did something here, it clicked it in and everything was fine. So here we are. So what's new, everybody? Josh?
Working my butt off.
What?
I'm still working my butt off. I've been negotiating with the city of Austin this week to try and get the umpires a raise. We hadn't got a raise in 2 years.
The city of Austin pays the umpires?
Yes.
Okay. Do they pay the players?
Players are not professionals. That's just recreation for them.
Oh, I see. And
Players pay the city.
I see. And for the ability to play.
Yep.
And then the city pays the umpires.
Yep.
Okay, I get it now. Yeah. So it makes
That's been fun this week, yeah.
How's it been fun?
It hasn't been fun. It's a pain in the butt.
Oh, I see. Okay, you're saying
They
that.
don't want to give us a raise, but the last 2 years have been the worst years for inflation in decades. So,
Yeah. How much of a raise do you want?
10%.
And you get, I hate to ask what you're getting paid now, but probably 10% of whatever you're getting paid now is bupkis, right? It's nothing.
Well, let's put it this way. The cities and the suburbs of Austin, umpires get paid more than what we get paid. And that's part of my argument. How are we going to keep umpires and all they got to do is go to one of the suburbs and work there for more money?
And if you don't do it, you're.
Yeah, then it's hard to keep umpires, and then you end up you're supposed to have 2 umpires per game, and a lot of times we can't do that because we don't have enough umpires.
Wow, that's terrible. That's terrible. Well, I'm sorry to hear it, and I hope that things get better.
That's why my hair is getting grayer.
Grayer?
Yeah.
You're how old now? And you grayer?
I'm 74, but
You're 74.
there's a little black in there. You can see.
Remember, this will make you feel bad. You're 10 years younger than I am.
I know. That's how I follow. I know what your age is because it's 10 years older than me.
Yeah. And you're going to have to give up on it because I'm not planning on getting any older. I'm not dying. I'm not dying. I'm going to remain 84 until you catch up to me.
Okay.
And then we
My
can.
sister already did that, so we might as well too.
Yeah, yeah. Anyway, I went to PT today, physical therapy. Boy, is that weird. It just, for a guy to begin with, I've never been athletic. All right? And so to ask me to do exercises is, like, I don't know.
Well, ask them if sex is considered exercise. You'd be happy to do that.
That's true.
I can't do that anymore.
You do it right.
You remember? You remember when they took my prostate and put it out on a rock and beat it to a fare thee well?
Yeah, they have a thing that Phil's using that I recommended that his urologist has given him. It's a compounded product. It's 3 things. It's called Trimix, and you inject a little bit into your penis, and it makes you hard.
Oh yeah.
It could have worked for Phil, would have worked for you.
I like to get erections. They're good. They're fun. You can do something with them. Okay.
Absolutely.
If you have somebody to do something with it with. Okay. But I'm sorry, I'm not doing anything of injecting anything into my penis to get it erect. I'll live without sex.
I get it. It's no problem. Phil couldn't do that, so.
No, Phil will try anything.
Yep, absolutely.
I mean, is this
including sound waves for $7,500?
What?
What do you think you did last year? Remember, you tried to talk him out of it. That shop that tells you we'll do sound waves, ultrasound through your penis, and it'll make it erect. And you said you're wasting your money. And he asked me, and I said I think Alex is right, and didn't do any good.
Go on a couple of cruises for that kind of money.
You got ready. There you go.
Yeah, and so now he's getting these injections, and are they working?
Yeah. But I mean, when you only have 3 inches, does it really matter?
No, it doesn't matter. But I mean, also, does he have to get them every time he wants to have sex?
Oh,
he's got a prescription of them, and I don't know if he adds the dose out of a bottle like they do, or if it comes pre-mixed.
Wait a minute, does he inject himself?
Yes.
Yep.
And
they even have an auto injector for the thing if you can't do you just stick it up like an EpiPen, except
how much does that cost?
It's not extra, I'm sure.
The auto injector I think he said was $75, but the drugs are covered under his prescription and with Kaiser. So I don't know. It's commonly used for people that, I couldn't imagine sticking a needle in there, but anyhow, I think I'd go like you, Alex. I'd just say, forget it.
Yeah, well, in my case,
but it's called Trimix. It's a compounded product they compound in the pharmacy, and it's good. It works I have friends of mine that have problems, and they use it for whatever.
It's not that I have a problem. I don't have any problems anymore.
Right.
The problem was in the old days when I would get a hard-on was to find somebody to use it with, So, the fact that I am in a state, I'm 84 years old. I had a lot of good years with that thing working, man. I'm amazed it lasted as long as it did.
A lot of my friends my age, I'm 65, are needing to use Viagra and stuff, and I still don't.
No, I went for I went for 80 years with that thing just working just fine.
Yeah, well,
and I got a lot of fun out of it. And then they did all this stuff, and I got the prostate cancer, and it pretty well stopped the thing from,
Yeah.
I can get some kind of an erection.
So how's the rest of your day going? Sorry, I didn't mean for it to get so involved.
No, but I'm just
now you have something. If Marjorie all of a sudden rolls over one night and says, "Boy, I wish get an erection, you say, "Let me go ask the doctor."
I don't think this stuff would work for me. I really don't.
Okay.
I mean, my problem is that they did a lot of work on that play. They did radiation and they did the
Right,
seeds and everything like
Because all
that.
that was they removed Phil's, so he
Yeah.
had a completely removed, and then radiation, and then other things. So
Well, I don't understand how he can even get an erection, but
the medicine
Yeah.
brings
that's what
blood
it
to
is.
that area, and just like your brain would.
Well, so does Viagra, so do a bunch of those things. That's how they work.
But some of those things are risky for anybody, but they're even more risky as you're older because they can cause heart issues. They don't mix well with a lot of different drugs. So I don't know. I'm not.
What do you mean?
not a
My
doctor.
up until recently, my urologist has been prescribing it to me.
Okay, well,
Sure, he knows
good.
better than you do.
Yeah. It sounds like you're able to get an erection easy.
Well, no, I can't anymore. I mean, I can get, what can I call it? Semi-erect.
Semi-erect. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But, I mean, I don't care anymore
Good.
because I don't have the drive any longer. So
That
because I
know
don't
that-
have the drive, how am I going to miss it?
10 years ago, I couldn't go more than a couple days. Now I can go a week.
Yeah, but you look how much younger you are than I am.
Yeah, but I'm slowing down there too.
Oh well, I'm sure you are.
It happens. It's a natural thing. Your testosterone drops as you get older.
Yeah. But as I say, I never had any problem until I was about 80, until this whole prostate problems happened, and it was a difference between dying or
Absolutely. I think you made the right choice.
Yeah, I made the right choice.
I would have done this. I would do the same thing right now at 65 if I had to.
Mm-hmm.
I would have the the cancer taken care of.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, Phil did.
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean, I don't understand how these injections are helping, but I guess they are. So.
If you Google Trimix, TRI.
And so here, what happens? You take this Trimix, right? You inject it into your.
God, every time you say that, I get this pain.
I know.
Well, you can ask Phil more detail, but you inject a certain amount. The doctor tells you how much to start with, and a half hour later or so, it keeps you erect. And I don't know for how long. I'm not a urologist, but I do have friends. Here we go.
Oh, he's showing it. Yeah.
Yep, there it is. Well, this is is that an over-the-counter drug from Amazon?
I doubt.
Yeah, it would.
Pharmacy. It's a pharmacy. I think you have to have
There's
it.
Amazon Pharmacy. You can get your drugs.
Right, but you can get it from your doctor, and I have no idea what the retail cost is. I have no idea what any of that is, but it works for him, and it's important for him. He's got this new girlfriend, and so
Well, I'm happy for him.
Yeah, well, me too. I have a couple friends that are younger, much younger than me, 20 years younger than me, but they take HIV drugs because they have AIDS, and that interfered with their erection when they were 25. And so Trimix was a godsend for them. So.
Yeah, but still, you got to inject it somewhere you don't want to inject it.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Hell, mine would shrivel up and disappear if it's a needle.
It's already done that. Alan. It's already done that. Yeah, so anyway, let's say hello to Josh. How are you, Josh?
I'm good. How are you?
He's here on a Monday, and now he's beginning to wonder why.
It's Wednesday.
Yes.
This isn't Monday, is it? It's Wednesday.
No.
Boy.
It's Wednesday.
What? Yeah. So anyway, nothing much is happening, I don't think. Are we having much action with the election and with all of that? All I know is that I tune into MSNBC rather, and constantly all they're talking about is Trump. Trump, 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 Trump. I'm so sick of hearing about Trump.
Well, he keeps making these outrageous statements.
No, but he made this outrageous statement, what, a week ago, right? About the dogs and the cats.
Yeah.
And
But
that's fine. You can
schools are
discuss
closed
that and complain about it for a day. But in the case of MSNBC, they're still talking about it.
They're still closing down the schools in whatever
Well,
name.
they're getting bomb threats in that city.
Yeah, because all the
Springfield,
bomb
Ohio.
threats.
So, it's all because of him.
I mean,
He
we
doesn't take
get it,
credit for it.
MSNBC. He's an asshole. We
Of course
get
he
it.
He came to Nassau Coliseum today,
Mhm.
and he
Oh,
gave
yes.
an hour and a half show.
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
he did,
But he
didn't he?
didn't mention Springfield except to say he's going there and he's going to Aurora. I may not come back, but we'll see.
He's going to Springfield?
He wants to hold a rally or
not?
whatever there.
Not enough anxiety there.
Do you think they really want him there? In fact, they don't want him there. According to J.D. Vance, they didn't want them coming because they felt that they had enough people paying attention to them. They didn't need more.
He
Yeah.
mentioned it, but why waste your effort in New York? You're going to get killed in New York. But he says he's going to win.
Hmm.
By a big
Tony
margin
says
in New York.
Tony was texting me earlier, and he said that Trump is in his neighborhood in Queens or something like that. So I
No,
said,
he's
"Good,
on
throw
Long
rocks
Island,
at the
isn't he? It's
caravan."
Long Island.
Right?
It's
Oh.
just over the border. Isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know New York that well, but I told Tony to get out in the front yard and throw rocks at the caravan.
Where did you do it, by the way? In
In Nassau Coliseum.
Nassau Coliseum? Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Holds about 20,000 people, I think, something like that. Did he fill it?
They didn't turn the camera around, so
Yeah.
The other day he was
Anybody
doing
walk out before
the
it was
other
over?
day he was doing a rally where he was talking about how Kamala was wrong and rude about the fact that he had people walking out on his speeches. And complaining about it in the speeches, blah 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 blah, da, 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 da. And as he's talking about this and saying how ridiculous that is, people took pictures of people who were getting up and walking out.
yeah. The governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders said she held a town hall, and the first 20 minutes was a love affair between the two of them, and he just was rambling, and they got to about 4 questions, and somebody said like, "What are you going to do for our car manufacturing industry? What's the biggest major threat?" And he said it's nuclear war. So it went downhill from there.
Yeah, well, the interesting thing is that he is he's been saying that he oh, now I forgot what I was going to say. Forget it.
He said he was trying to talk about Anwar in Alaska. He said Biden closed down Bagram up there in Alaska, which has the most oil of anything. So he got Anwar and Bagram confused in Afghanistan, and then he tried to smoothen it out.
Yeah, here's the thing. He's just started this whole new thing. What is it? Do you know what it is, Josh? He's selling bitcoins, right?
Oh yeah.
This is horrible.
Yeah,
And when
I heard he
it-
was getting into that business.
And when they interviewed him, he doesn't know what Bitcoin is. I mean, come on. I'm an idiot about money, and I know what Bitcoin is. How many people here know how Bitcoin works? Anybody?
A little bit.
I mean,
I don't know how it works,
know a
but-
lot about that electronic currency,
Yeah.
but
But if you're selling it, you at least should know what you're
Right, yeah.
selling, right?
yeah.
Well,
I mean, if I were
it's
gonna,
air.
you know,
It's garbage.
Yeah.
yeah, if I were gonna be a franchisee for, McDonald's, I would probably know how to cook a hamburger. I mean, that's
Right.
I want a hamburger. You're gonna have chicken. You go,
Yeah,
he's
maybe,
cooking.
you know.
Everything's the opposite.
It's terrible.
So the interesting thing about Trump, you're talking about Trump, is his stock is at the lowest price,
Yeah,
and tomorrow is the
he
I don't
can
know
sell it, right?
what you call the date. He can start selling it tomorrow, but it started out at like 60,
Yeah.
Now it's down to $15.
Yeah, I'm tracking it too right now.
And how much? How much? Didn't he have to buy it?
Yeah, he wanted to sell it earlier. He was trying to do a shenanigans with the FCC, and they wouldn't let him do it because he knew it would tank.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, he didn't
Yeah.
know it would tank. You never know with the stock, but it sure has tanked. It's dropped 66% since the first shot attempt. The second one doesn't count. The guy didn't get a shot off, but
That's
but
2 times.
There wasn't.
I mean, good idea. You can't count the second guy, Alex.
How do you define an attempt?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, well, that's what I want to know.
picked up on that a
They never
little. I
got
mean,
within visual range of Trump.
they
How's that?
probably in the media keeps referring to it as an attempt. They should probably refer to it as a plot.
Yeah.
I
You know,
agree.
like if you
Josh.
can't carry out I mean, I guess what I'm saying is if you and I plan to drive our vehicle into the Capitol building and blow it up, and we drive to Washington, D.C., and they arrest us, did we attempt to blow up the Capitol, or did we have a plot to blow up the Capitol?
Well,
Right.
was
I mean,
it?
that's what I mean. You know, I guess if you want to argue the details of it, whatever,
doesn't a
doesn't matter.
plot? Doesn't a
But-
plot indicate several other people involved?
Well, then call it a plan. But I mean,
Okay.
no, I don't think it has to. I mean, if I could plot to,
Yeah.
I mean,
One person can
crime.
plot. Yeah.
yeah, you know. But you know, I mean, with what you're saying, I think would be more toward conspiracy.
Right.
You know, that's going to involve more than one person. But
But
I
he
mean,
makes a
yeah, they
big- he
do
makes a big
keep
deal out
referring
of-
to it as an attempt. You know, and I think at first maybe they got on that because they heard there were some shots fired or whatever.
Yeah.
They were shooting
My
at him.
understanding is security fired on the person.
Right.
And I don't know why
And he
they
fired
him.
and he
Apparently
fired-
saw him stand up with a weapon or something along those lines. I would assume.
And I
Yeah, I
believe
heard they saw
I believe he
barrels.
fired in the air too.
The information that I last saw was that his weapon had never been discharged, or
That's
was
right.
not discharged. And I don't want to say never, like at a range or anything, but he had not discharged his weapon during the incident.
I
Yeah.
think the real question here is, if this was a trip that was unplanned
I don't know.
How did you know? Yeah.
to go golf, how did he know 12 hours in advance to camp out there?
Well,
Did
I
he
don't know
camp
that he
out there
did. I think that was the point of. I would assume, sense would say that Trump golfs a lot on the weekends. This is
Yeah.
where he golfs when he stays at Mar-a-Lago because there is no course at Mar-a-Lago. You know, he golfs at this course that he owns a few miles away or whatever. So, you know, if there's an accessible spot and you hide out there for long enough, he's going to drive by it.
One possible answer to your question there, Alan, is that I believe his schedule is always published of what he's going to do on any given day.
I don't know.
And there was probably someplace this guy could look up the fact that he was going to be playing golf.
The interesting thing was the Secret Service shot into the bushes and missed.
And
So
missed. That's what
They're as bad a shot as the first guy. And I mean, I'm not making a joke. I don't know how you could shoot into bushes and not hit the guy with the rifle barrels.
Well, he might be hidden in the bushes and you can't see him, so you're not aiming at the exact
But I
place.
don't really think they said who shot him. Or I don't necessarily know that a perched sniper spotted him and shot at him. It very well could just have been a ground agent who had to pull a sidearm and shoot at him with,
This
that
time,
would
a 9mm sidearm from 100 yards away is a hard target for a guy,
for anybody.
So I mean, if he got off a few rounds and the guy ran through the woods, that was probably the end
Yeah,
of
that's what they're
it.
talking.
Yeah.
They said that Trump was out of range. Well, this was not an AR, which is a 22 bullet with a rifle cartridge, the gun of choice. This was an SKS, which is an AK-47 knockoff. And
Right.
it shoots a 30 caliber bullet and it goes a lot farther. It's a lot more deadly, like 400 to 500 yards. And this guy had a scope on it. So he was planning on doing damage, but
Apparently
he didn't do it.
not enough because he was lying there and he could see, I guess, the president through his scope and he didn't
probably
fire
He
the
said he
shot.
did not have line of sight on the president.
He did not have line
Never
of sight.
had line of sight
So
on
what we're
on Trump.
saying is Trump is complaining about something that never happened.
That's right.
You know, and then he's complaining that the Democrats cause all these problems.
How do the Democrats?
And J.D. Vance said, you know, if they weren't causing the problem, why is it nobody's trying to shoot Kamala Harris?
Right.
And the answer to that
Kamala.
one is because people like her.
You know that also the way they go about it verges on threatening the vice president.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
but
Well, that's what
just
he does.
because something hasn't happened yet doesn't mean that there isn't a high relative chance of it
Yeah.
being possible. I mean,
Absolutely.
you know, I mean, and almost every sitting president at one time or another has had a security, you know, I mean, incident. I mean, you know, the Clinton White House was shot at a few times. You know, I mean, look, they tried to fly a plane into the White House when Bush was president. I mean, you know, I mean, it goes on and on.
Remember,
I mean,
there were a bunch of people there was during my early years as a kid, I seem to remember an incident at the, it wasn't the White House, because the White House was being worked on, and the president was living in another place, and I'm trying to remember the name of it.
well, usually if they can't stay in the White House, they stay at the next door mansion, the Blair House. But
Blair House, that's where it was.
Yeah, Blair House,
And he
yeah.
was staying at Blair House, and there were these, I think they were Puerto Rican maybe, or I'm trying to remember what nation they were from. They entered the Blair House literally and were going to kill the president, you know, but they didn't get away
I
with
don't
it.
remember that. I don't, you know, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't remember that
I think Gerald Ford was shot
Of
at.
course you didn't
twice,
remember
like,
it because you
Right.
weren't born yet.
you
Yeah,
know.
but wasn't once well, one of the two times that Gerald Ford was shot at was with a starter pistol, I think.
No.
Was
I,
that the
I
spoof?
don't
I don't
remember. I think that he
No.
was shot at twice in like
15 days.
Well, you have
Yeah,
to
15
start. You
days
have
or
to
something.
start somewhere.
2 weeks.
I guess.
You know, and then the president that followed him was actually wounded.
Yeah.
Reagan. You know, I don't. You know, so I mean, it's not new. I mean, look, I don't like it because you know the kind of thing isn't. You know, Trump needs to go away in the right way. You know,
That's right.
Yeah.
By
personally
voting.
for the nation. I mean, like I'm not going to act like I would mourn his death.
Oh,
You know,
there's
because I wouldn't, but that's a personal like
Yeah.
feelings, you know. But
Right.
for the nation, that's not what needs to happen.
Tom just raised his hand. Tom,
Hello.
hello.
Yeah, let me put my hand back down.
Mhm.
Lower hand. Yeah, just
Oh,
to
well, thank
answer.
God, because you moved yourself on the screen.
Yeah, just to reply to Josh's statement. Yeah, there were two attempts on Gerald Ford's life. One in San Francisco, Sarah Jane
One
Moore.
New York.
And the other one
Yeah.
was Squeaky
That was a real
Frog.
gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other one was in Sacramento by Squeaky Fromm, who was one of the Manson family.
That's right.
And if I
So-
remember right, the one in San Francisco, the bullet went like literally missed Donald Rumsfeld, if I remember right,
Yeah.
who
yeah.
might have
Oh,
been
what a
his chief of
shame.
staff at the time, by like millimeter and struck the building behind his head or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because I think Rumsfeld was.
I think it
I
was
think he
a
was his chief
22
of staff at the
caliber.
time because he was really tight with Gerald Ford when he was, you know, when they were both much younger. But
Yeah.
uh,
And I forgot his name, but the person that actually intervened that saved Ford's life in San Francisco was outed as gay. And I think he ended up, if I'm not mistaken, he ended up committing suicide, unfortunately. It was back in the 70s when
but yeah, I think
attitudes towards gay people was different.
you
Yeah.
know,
Sure.
you know, like with Rumsfeld and with, I mean, it just, I mean, close scrapes, and they, you know, changed
I
the face
still
of the
want to
country in
know,
ways you don't know.
and I'm still one of these people who smells something wrong with the first thing that happened to Trump, where he got shot in the air, and then he's got this giant tampon over his head at the convention a couple of days later. All right.
Yeah.
And then about less than a week later, he's got a little like Band-Aid up here,
Yeah.
And then the next day, he's got nothing up there. And I'm going, if a bullet hit your ear here, wouldn't it do a little bit more damage?
It would sail through. But still there'd be
Well,
a
you're
hole
saying
there.
it sailed through, but there'd be a nick there or something. And you go look at him a couple of days later, and there's not even a nick there.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Unfortunately, there has not been any kind of release of any kind of information about any kind of medical reports, whether it was actually a bullet that hit him or any kind of shrapnel debris from the left turn. Unfortunately, we don't have that information, and when you don't have information, then you have rumors, and that's the problem.
So if you go to the FBI, Tom, if you go to the FBI's website, they say he definitely was.
Will you let Tom finish what he was saying?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. Alan, you have more information?
Yeah, if you go to the FBI's website, you can see they announce on their out to the news and on their website that it was definitely a bullet that went through his ear. Had he had he was luck was on his side. Had he was
but
turned
where
like
was
this,
the nick in his ear 5 days later?
I don't know.
Come on, I fell on my face.
Yeah.
I fell on my face a couple of weeks ago, and it's finally just starting to heal up.
Yeah.
And I didn't get shot in the face.
No.
Right.
He was just lucky.
Well, he was lucky he had his head turned to the right, because had he turned it the other way.
That's fine, but I swear to you, I don't think a bullet hit his ear.
Okay.
Okay, I can see that maybe a piece of shrapnel from the teleprompter did or whatever.
Sure.
But it makes no sense to me. You should have something.
Well, he would have had a cut just like you and I would for days, even if it was a cut from the teleprompter.
Yeah.
It could have been, he could have reached up like that, popped a blood capsule that they use in Hollywood, and put it on his ear. It could have.
No, I don't think he did. No, I don't think that happened.
No, he'd have to be.
Hey, listen, Tom. We're talking about Donald Trump here. You don't think he would be capable of such a thing?
Yeah, but I don't think under the circumstances, I don't think it. And to get back to your early, actually, this is the reason why I came on. Mm-hmm. You were talking about Vance populist saying, well, why was it they're only going after Trump and they're not only going after Biden and Harris? The fact is, the first shooter actually was scouting out both campaigns and seeing where both. So this was a crime of opportunity. So it's very easily that if Biden had been the first opportunity for him, Biden would have been the potential target. So that puts J.D. Vance's theory in just crazy. He's just nuts.
He's crazy.
Oh yeah, and the Wall Street Journal today.
You read that too?
I heard. Actually said that his staff actually confirmed that the Haitian story was total bunk.
Yep.
And they went with it anyway, even though they had confirmed there was no factual basis for the Haitian eating pet story at all. They went with it. So Vance is totally out to lunch.
Well, I don't know. Oh, here comes Bree.
Can I say something, Alan?
Yeah.
See, this is what bothers me, and I'll follow up with Tom just saying that. And this is what bothers me, Tom, too. He blatantly pushes a lie, right? Puts a whole bunch of people, innocent people, in danger.
Right.
And there's no like, all right, you can keep doing it. Like, what is wrong?
There's no consequences. Wrong here. Yep, there's no consequences.
I mean, it's like, so, but they're more like, what about the kids? The schools are being evacuated.
That's right.
It's like, but as long as Trump's, it's almost like, I hate to say this, and they're at this guy's rallies. They gotta, Alex, I'm going to tell you something. And you remember when they said Jim Jones, they all drank that Kool-Aid? They're drinking this guy's Kool-Aid.
Actually, it was Flavor Aid.
Because it's like, it's
Remember, Paul Krasner found that out. It was
He's
flavoring.
not, Tommy's not old enough to know that.
He doesn't know who Paul Krasner
Not like
is.
that.
Oh, well.
But it just bothers me, Alex, that they can spread lies,
But
and he knows
he's
it.
correct. This guy's spreading lies and putting lives in jeopardy in Springfield, and he's not held accountable for it.
It's like, what's wrong with this world? It's like I don't get it anymore.
Well,
I don't know.
Don't vote for Trump this time, and you know.
I don't even get it. It's almost like you could break the law, and as long as you get away with it, just do it.
Yeah.
When it comes to him, that's what he seems to be the course.
I don't know. It's like,
Well, I mean, what they push is they follow the very typical fascist style play.
Absolutely.
I mean,
absolutely.
no matter what happens, the truth is not a concern. All you have to do is say it was the other side. Just keep saying it. Just keep repeating it. Never admit you were. I mean, just go.
I think in his speech at Nassau today, at the Nassau Coliseum, he said that Kamala Harris had called him after the attempted shooting and wanted to make sure he was okay, and he said that was very nice of her, and I thank her for that. But this is the first civil thing he's said in the whole thing, in the whole election.
Like that's the real, like, now you're actually being, why can't they just be civil and just say, this is what I'm standing for? It'd be a whole lot easier to even dissect.
He is civil, Tony.
No. I think he always thinks he's on a TV show, Alex. He always thinks like he's got to be a showman for everything. That's his ego.
That's all he is. And when they call him a showman, it bothers me because I don't think he's a very good showman.
Like, what is he, would you say then? Like,
well, he's an asshole. Is what he is.
Yeah. But like, you think is it more of an ego, Alex, that it's always got, like with these crowds, like you look at him and like, he loves people saying he's great. Like, is it now just his ego all the time?
Oh, it's always been his ego. It's been his ego since he was building buildings here in Manhattan.
Right.
I mean, Richard's lived here a long time. You know this guy. He's always been you've known him, Tony. He's always
I know. I didn't think he was this narcissistic, to tell you the truth, like this bad.
I think so. I'll tell you that
I think he's a pathological narcissist. Yeah, there's
absolutely.
no question about it.
He checks into different hotels and stands in front of the mirror and looks at himself in his birthday suit and said, "God, I'm the best looking guy in the world."
Do you know that for a fact?
No, I'm just saying. That was just
Don't
my
say
opinion.
something like that, because then the rumor gets around
okay.
that's what he did, and I don't want to be the source of the rumor.
Okay. I don't know.
Yeah.
This shows the source of a
Hey,
lot.
Bree, how you doing out there?
Hi, Alan. Hi, everyone.
You look like you're in a hotel room.
Yeah.
No, this is my home.
Oh, I see.
But
Okay.
thanks for the upgrade.
Yeah.
What's the
Yeah, no.
upgrade?
Let's see. I can show you. Yeah, it's just my room.
Oh,
But
okay.
I do have a nice view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've been getting some crazy weather here.
Oh, wow.
Mama. Are you way up in that tower?
Yeah, because one of my coworkers told me that Malaysians like to have they like to be higher up. So the higher in the building, the more they consider that good. I don't know. Is that true in the States as well? I always thought I wanted to be closer to the ground.
The traders get the high floor because they got.
In California, we want to be close to the ground in case of an earthquake.
Now,
Absolutely. Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
You're renting, right?
Yeah, I rent.
Yeah. Because
That's a killer view, so to speak.
The thing I don't like here is I always have to say, like, things go wrong in the apartment, and I have to call an agent who then deals with my landlord. I would prefer to deal directly with the landlord, but that doesn't happen. And there's this thing where if something is below 150 ringgit, I'm supposed to pay for it. And if it's above 150 ringgit, then the landlord's supposed to take care of it. But the question becomes, well, who determines,
Wow.
the degree to which it needs to be placed and the value, and that's never been clear. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Doesn't that translate into 39 cents American? I don't know.
No.
Well, I'll tell you
What
something.
is, how much is that?
I'll tell you something we're doing here tomorrow is we just purchased a new dishwasher.
Ooh.
Replacing
What
the
does it mean?
dishwasher we have that we put in here when we first moved in here 15 years ago. So
you're paying for that.
Oh yeah, yeah. There wasn't a dishwasher in here when we first moved in. The guy, I guess, had no desire to eat here, so he had no reason to clean dishes. So we put a wine cooler in where the dishwasher should go.
I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that.
I've seen people do that.
yeah. And so we moved the wine cooler somewhere else. And we put in this dishwasher, which...
And you don't have to tell the landlord that? Like, that would be something I would have to confirm with the landlord here. I couldn't just do that.
It doesn't matter.
It's an upgrade to the property. Why would the landlord complain?
I'm simply replacing something that's already there.
Right.
And what, I want to go to my landlords and ask for anything?
No.
Yeah, well, I know how you feel on that.
Did Marjorie pick the dishwasher out?
No, I picked it out.
Oh, good.
Well, she said, you go pick it out. So I picked it out. So I got one that's stainless steel on the front. She doesn't like that because she wanted black. Well, then go pick it yourself.
Right. What brand is it?
It's an LG.
That's a good quality.
I got it because it has Wi-Fi. I don't know what you do with Wi-Fi with a dishwasher.
Oh, really?
Except maybe,
It's all about how you load the dishes.
Water levels.
My LG washer has Wi-Fi.
Oh, this is an LG, but this is an LG product, and most of the LG products now have Wi-Fi.
I don't have it connected
I have
to my
an
washer.
LG water filter.
No, it's a very simple thing to hook up,
Right.
Yeah,
but I don't
I
want
have my what do you call it? My stove is Wi-Fi, and my air conditioner in the bedroom is Wi-Fi, and I simply tell it what to do, and it does it. So I don't know what you do with a dishwasher with Wi-Fi. All I know is that what I don't like about the Wi-Fi is every now and then my stove, my oven, tells me it needs to be cleaned. Says I need to be clean, and I'm going, leave me alone,
That's
Makes sense.
That's weird.
It's not a great idea, So Tom, how you doing otherwise out there?
Doing okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to an event. Each year we have an event here in Berkeley called the Crop Hunger Walk, which we raise money for the for hunger programs, both Berkeley, locally and internationally through what's called the Church World Service. And so they had a little event I went to that at the what we call Holy Hill, is the graduate theological union, and they were telling us about our programs. I met a wonderful woman from Ukraine, a refugee from Ukraine, and we had a wonderful talk. She's an Uber driver in San Jose now, but she was talking about how she was allowed actually to get out from the Russians. The Russians took over her city, and she was allowed with a number of people to get all their possessions. They gave them 20 minutes to get all their possessions and themselves out and get out of the country. So
I would be in trouble.
By the way, one thing we didn't talk about today, and we should have because it was one of the more interesting stories, is the whole story about the pagers in
Oh, yeah.
and the fact that I gotta hand it to Israel, man. They really pulled off a good one there.
Except there were some children that died too.
Yeah, well, but I'm saying if you're gonna do
thousands injured.
that's something like a plot out of a James Bond movie or something.
Yeah,
maybe they can change up one for Trump's cell phone.
What?
Maybe they could, if they can give a pager to
Never
Hezbollah.
Never mind.
Well, one thing, Alex, I remember when pagers first came out.
Yeah.
And you had one that vibrates.
Yes.
And you put it, you sat on it and during the show, and you gave out the number.
Yeah, and had everybody.
And then we were calling. It's a good thing you didn't have one of those pagers. That would have been nuts. That might have been not so fun.
But I'll tell you, it really is it's an interesting story. I mean, it's kind of something you'd make a movie out of, and look, life imitating art. Anyway, hey, here's our. Can you hear the theme? There you go. Yep. We're gonna get rid of y'all. I'm gonna go try and figure out what was wrong with this computer earlier. In the meantime, all of you have a very nice day, and I hope I see you again tomorrow. Tom, always good having you here. Alan, another fine job of I don't know what.
I don't know what.
Josh, it's always nice to have you in the house. And of course Charlie, and then Jeff, and we don't have Tony every night, and when we do, it's a blessing, Tony.
Thank you.
Boy, can I lie. Richard, thank you so much. Please keep calling. We love having you here. And Bree, again, happy Malaysia. Everybody, give a big wave goodbye, why don't you? And I will give a big wave goodbye at you. And there they go, folks. That's our citizen panel for tonight. The intersection is next with Amy Manuel, and she'll be taking your calls at Skype at, let's see here, Skype, the number is Gabnet Live. Gabnet Live on Skype. We'll see you again right here again tomorrow night. Same time, same station in life. In the meantime, as always, if you see her, tell her I love her, okay? Good night, everybody. Have a nice evening.